Mohan Malviya Teachers Training Program at Bhagat Phool Singh Mahila Vishwavidyalaya on this virtual platform. And to introduce you with your brief profile with all the participants, may I invite Dr. Shakuntala ji now.
यहाँ पर उपस्थित सभी हमारे जो विशिष्ट अतिथि हैं उनको मैं सादर नमन करती हूँ। HRDC की निर्देशिका डॉक्टर शिफाली मैम को भी नमस्कार करती हूँ एवं यहाँ पर उपस्थित सभी प्रतिभागियों को भी मेरा नमस्कार। हमारे समक्ष प्रोफेसर सुपर्ण कुमार शर्मा जी उपस्थित हैं। सर, मैं आपका स्वागत करती हूँ, अभिनंदन करती हूँ। आप सर जो हैं वो कॉमर्स विषय की प्रोफेसर हैं एवं श्री माता वैष्णो देवी विश्वविद्यालय जम्मू कश्मीर से संबंधित हैं। सर का जो परिचय है वो बहुत ही वृहद है और इस परिचय को देने उनका परिचय इतना वृहद है कि वो अपने आप में ही एक शख्सियत है, महान शख्सियत है। तो मैं संक्षिप्त में ही इनका परिचय देना चाहूंगी। सर, जैसा कि आप सभी को पता ही है कि प्रबंधन संकाय से संबंधित हैं, तो सर पहले डीन भी रह चुके हैं इस संकाय में। इनकी शोध पत्रिकाओं में भी इन्हें 5 वर्ष का संपादन कार्य का अनुभव है। इसके साथ ही इनकी PhD 2004 में पूरी हुई थी। इन्होंने राष्ट्रीय अंतर्राष्ट्रीय अनेक परियोजनाओं पर भी कार्य किया है और कर रहे हैं। इसके साथ ही इनके 2 पुस्तक पब्लिश्ड है। इसके अतिरिक्त इन्होंने सेमिनार कॉन्फ्रेंस 65 करवाए हैं। इसके अतिरिक्त इनका जो रिसर्च पेपर है वो 22 रिसर्च पेपर पब्लिश्ड हैं। इसके साथ ही ये ऐसे अनेक प्रोफेशनल संस्थानों से जुड़े हुए हैं। रिसर्च पेपर में इन्होंने समीक्षक का भी कार्य किया है जिसकी संख्या 35 है। सर, मैं आपका हमारे इस वर्कशॉप में या हमारे इस NEP ओरिएंटेशन प्रोग्राम में बहुत बहुत स्वागत करती हूँ। आप जैसे महान शख्सियत का यहाँ उपस्थित होना और उनको सुनना हमारे लिए बहुत ही गर्व की बात है। सर, जैसा कि आपके इंट्रोडक्शन में परिचय में मैंने जो पढ़ा है, आपका जो है उसमें शोध पत्रिका का भी आपका अनुभव है। तो सर, मैं इस व्याख्यान में थोड़ा सा इस पर भी आप यदि प्रकाश डाल पाए तो बहुत ही अच्छी बात होगी, क्योंकि हम सभी प्रोफेसर हैं, कॉलेज से जुड़े हुए हैं। तो हमारे लिए ये जानकारी बहुत महत्वपूर्ण है सर। तो सर, मैं आपका स्वागत करती हूँ इस व्याख्यान में और इस कार्यक्रम में।
मैं बड़ा हिंदी बोलने की कोशिश सोच रहा था, मैं बोलूं बड़ा मुश्किल है। ऑल्दो मैं वहीं से हूँ जहाँ से आप हैं, पास से ही हूँ मैं रहने वाला, मेरी परवरिश वहीं हुई है। ऑल्दो आई एम वर्किंग हियर। ये हिंदी जब आप बोल रहे थे तो मैं डर रहा था, और मैम की भी बड़ी अच्छी हिंदी है। तो पीछे एक दिन मैम ने सेशन लिया हमारे यहाँ पे, तो तब भी मैं यही सोच रहा था और आज भी मेरा वही चल रहा है दिमाग में कि हाउ टू हैंडल इट। तो मैं
बाइलिंगुअल विल गो।
जी मैं जहां तक हो सकेगा कोशिश करूंगा। और आप प्रेजेंटेशन आपने शेयर कर लिया। मैं स्क्रीन जब आप नेक्स्ट स्लाइड पे आप जब जाएंगे, जब मैं रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा आपको, अभी जरूरत नहीं है। तो हम शुरू करते हैं। थोड़ा सा एक्वर्ड लग रहा है कि कैमरा ऑन नहीं है। मैं कोशिश करूंगा कि मोबाइल से मैं ज्वाइन कर लूं साथ में, साथ कैमरा ऑन हो मेरा, वो अदरवाइज थोड़ा सा ठीक नहीं लगता है। रिसर्च एंड डेवलपमेंट फॉर NEP orientation and sensitization program has been planned. We will be together for approximately 3 hours now, and I hope that something productive will come out till the end of the session by the interactions and deliberation and participation we will be having. research and development is one critical area where our universities, when I'm saying the universities of India and surrounding even, because we are having more or less similar characters. On some fronts, we are doing better, and some other fronts, some other neighboring countries are doing better. शोध कार्य एक ऐसा विषय है जिसमें कि पिछले कुछ सालों में काफी तेजी से हमने इम्प्रूवमेंट किया है. If we compare any faculty member who is having an experience of say 20-25 years, so in the last 10 years, if you will see, they have more quality publication as compared to the previous. And the reason behind it is the IT revolution, the quality of teaching and quality of research orientation in the universities and other institutes in the country. नेशनल एजुकेशन पॉलिसी 2020 का जब ड्राफ्ट आया, तो इन दैट ड्राफ्ट वन ऑफ द क्रिटिकल फोकस वाज ऑन R&D, बिकॉज दिस इज वन एरिया जहां पे कि हम बहुत सालों से इम्प्रूव करने की कोशिश तो कर रहे हैं, लेकिन उस लेवल का इम्प्रूवमेंट, हाउ वी कैन बी अ वर्ल्ड क्लास इंस्टीट्यूट इन द country can be established is something which has taken a lot of focus in the NEP. और यहाँ फोकस सिर्फ रिसर्च पब्लिकेशन का नहीं है. जब हम रिसर्च और डेवलपमेंट की बात कर रहे हैं तो हम उस स्टूडेंट के वो रिसर्च और एनालिटिकल स्किल इनहांस करने की बात भी कर रहे हैं. Those who are working in the field as a student of UG, PG, even you say school education. That is the reason from very beginning of national education policy, from the draft onwards, I am saying focus on enhancing the research and analytical skills of the students at the school level, at the college level, at the university level, at the research level are advised and focused. अगर हम ड्राफ्ट को देखें तो ड्राफ्ट में तो बहुत कुछ था, ऑल्दो जब हम फाइनल डॉक्यूमेंट पे जो पार्लियामेंट में अल्टीमेटली फाइनलाइज हुआ वो एक छोटा डॉक्यूमेंट है, बट द सोल इज रिफ्लेक्टेड इन द ड्राफ्ट इटसेल्फ. मैं आपसे जानना चाहूंगा कि हम कहते हैं क्वालिटी रिसर्च, व्हाट इज द मीनिंग ऑफ क्वालिटी रिसर्च? इफ समबडी कैन अनम्यूट योरसेल्फ एंड टेल मी what is the quality research in your vision? क्या है quality research?
Quality research, sir, basically means that is welfare for the society. I think so.
Yes, welfare for the society is fine, but one NGO is also looking for the welfare of the society, isn't it? So what addition is required? Anybody who can add me something?
Sir,
Quality research.
सर इसमें हम क्वालिटी रिसर्च में सारी चीजें लेंगे कि हर फैक्टर्स और एस्पेक्ट के अकॉर्डिंग हो, सोशली हो, स्टूडेंट्स के लिए हो, और पूरी वेलफेयर हो इसमें हमारी.
एक कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव पिक्चर हम देखना चाह रहे हैं, तो उसमें तो ये सब आता है. चलिए हम कहते हैं क्वालिटी रिसर्च का पैरामीटर क्या होगा? अगर मैं थोड़ा सा और इसको क्लियर करूं, क्वालिटी रिसर्च का क्या पैरामीटर होगा?
सर एजुकेशन इम्प्लीकेशंस हो हमारी.
हाँ, यस, very important. Normally we say the quality research का एक ही एंगल है कि he should be having a good publication, but things are beyond it. Yes, broad comprehensive application. One dimension through which we can measure very easily is that yes, it is fine that you should be having a good quality publication in terms of impact factor, in terms of H index and others. So these things are also required because we are to compete at the international level. We have to compete on every front. But one of the critical aspect that is missing in our normal teaching phenomena is connecting the research with the teaching. When I was student, I completed my masters in 1996, and I joined in services in 1998, 99. So I realized that the research, the way it should be as part of the teaching, I was not able to connect. I asked to the variety of people, everybody has his own version to tell. But since I was novel in that profession at that time, some questions were in my mind. Slowly and steadily, I realized that it's very important to focus on quality research along with quality teaching. If both the things will go together, results will be more effective and more powerful. In NEP, focus on enhancing the skill sets of students is the primary focus. And because of it, मैम नेक्स्ट स्लाइड पे आ जाइए, नंबर 3 स्लाइड पे आ जाइए मैम आप, या जी यहीं रखिए बस. You know, over the period of time, the research analytical skills of the students are improving because of variety of factors, including one is educational institutes. And here I'm talking about all form of educational institutes, formal and informal. And when I'm saying informal, certain kind of training centers are also open. National Skill Development Council has come up with another platform to enhance your research and analytical skills, along with different other soft skills and hard skills. So, question that comes into mind is, why should I care about research as a teacher? Why should I care about research? There are various reasons behind it that we are discussing, but on day-to-day basis, when you are teaching in the class, you want to develop a logic in the mind of the student, a reasoning in the mind of the student. This logic or reasoning is supposed to be deliberated, explained, described in a very intelligent way. Second thing that comes into mind is the common sense, the intuition will not work except one, research model or analytical model that was given by De Bono, or those who are student of management may be understanding it. One tool was given 6 thinking hats, except that 6 thinking hats phenomena. In all other tools, there is not at all any relevance of the intuition. So we should not talk about this intuition so much. If we are making blunder at the initial level. So what should we do? Point is, what should we do? The point here is that whenever we focus about research, what should be the parameter, what should be the process, and what should be the basic explanation in this regard. If those basic explanations are given clearly and effectively, we will be able to have a better product for the market. Otherwise, it will be a half-baked product, or poor research. Just a minute. Now I wanna, ma'am, if you keep my, fine. I have attempted to switch on my camera. Yeah, thank you, ma'am, to admit me, because I was not feeling comfortable if I'm teaching without camera to the people in an online mode. So somehow, at least it will work a little bit. Now, ma'am, can we go to the next slide, please? Yeah. Before deliberating on the fundamental details and other things about the research, I am interested that I should deliberate with you the, literature-based logical research process. And this process is common for any stream of, a student. It may be from engineering, it may be from social sciences, it may be from natural sciences, it may be from humanities or any other stream. Basic frames are like this. There are totally 8 steps in a research process. And the first step, second step, and third step is reflecting two-way arrows, as you can see that. First step is selection of the topic or a broad area, because depending upon the natural science or social science, sometimes you are making exploratory research, and the exploratory research things are slightly different as compared to the a descriptive research or any other form of research process, cause and effect or other kind of relationship when you are establishing. In it, selection of the topic is the first and the critical step. If you have selected a topic or broad area or relevant, relevant broad topic, in all these three cases, you will go to the step number 2, which is review of literature. And through review of literature, it is possible that you have to revise your topic, revise your broad area. Because through this revised broad area, you will be able to revise, finalize, and move ahead with that broad area or topic. Or you may reach to the step number 3, where you develop theoretical and conceptual framework. When I'm talking about the theoretical and conceptual framework, for every subject, for every area, for every topic, relevant research is a research area. Relevant existing research must be looked out in detail. Nowadays, you may be looking, variety of publications are coming in the field of bibliometric analysis, systematic literature review analysis, and lot of publications are coming in it. Some years back, this was not the pattern, but today it is very important, because now we have understood the importance of the assessment of the existing research. If existing research is going in the right direction and effectively being performed, there is no harm to use that existing literature to understand the research gap and to look to the various other related dimensions. Now, in it, one important thing that we need to keep in mind is that when we talk about this theoretical conceptual framework, after it, if you have finalized any topic, so as screen is describing you, first 3 steps are possible to go back, allowing you to go back. Whenever you are making any research, you are making efforts on 2 fronts. One, in terms of the funds or the money associated, and second step is, which is more critical, the important productive time. So if you are productively utilizing your time for a good research, the fruits of that research will be enjoyed by you only. But if that research topic you have taken in a wrong direction, or a wrong topic, wrong broad area you have chosen, or the area that you have chosen has already been explored, or you are not looking to the research gap intelligently, so novelty in the research is missing. NEP aspires for this practice to be avoided. NEP document clearly explained that a logical and systematic research is the key for the upliftment of education standards, especially the higher education standards in the country. And it is because of these factors, these reasons, very special emphasis is given on research and development. That's why this research process is critically acclaimed and described in this particular approach. So in the research process, once first 3 steps are completed, then you cannot go back. And number 4 of the step is clarification of the research questions and hypotheses. So these clarification of research questions and hypotheses is the, what you call the meal ka pathar. If you are focusing on your research work, you should be establishing relevant hypotheses, null hypotheses, alternative hypotheses, or sometimes you are not framing hypotheses, you are raising some research questions. and clarifying on those research questions. So in this step of research questions, once you have reached it, means you have tested yourself against time, against the logic. You know, there are basically 3 criteria in the research process we have. First is called a priori criteria. A priori means, a priori is a Latin word. In advance, priorly decided research should give you a logical frame. If step number 1 is fine, then step number 2 comes, that is the statistical criteria. Statistical criteria reflects that the analysis that you have prepared is acceptable, स्वीकार्य है या नहीं है. अगर हम मापदंड लेते हैं statistical indicators के, like correlation, regressions, the standard deviations, coefficient of variation, these measures are the basic fundamental measures through which you will test what is the nature of the data. Is it as per the requirement of you? Like you see, if you have estimated certain values, certain you say research estimations you have made, those who are misleading, because the statistical indicators are not tested against time, your research is not going to contribute. Like in the case of, you say, COVID, we have seen, everybody start asking that the vaccine that is given to us, is it testified? Is it proven against the statistical indicators? The tests have been successfully performed by these vaccines or not? So this is part of the research process. Research is having a very, you say, important dimension, that it improves the quality and it saves resources. It saves time. So number 4, research question and hypothesis setting is followed by research design. Can I ask you, what is the meaning of research design? Anybody? What is the meaning of research design? I can understand this is the last day for your program, maybe a bit tired, but if you will be giving some input to us, we will be able to understand better.
सर, रिसर्च डिजाइन के अंतर्गत हम अपने शोध कार्य की रूपरेखा बनाएंगे सर.
जी बिल्कुल ठीक बात है. रूपरेखा इन द सेंस कि किस तरह के हमें डाटा कलेक्शन प्रोसेस की जरूरत है. अगर हम एक नेचुरल साइंस में हूं तो मेरे एक्सपेरिमेंट किस तरह के होंगे, कितनी बार होंगे, उनकी फ्रीक्वेंसी कितनी होगी. अगर वो एक सोशल साइंस रिसर्च है तो रिस्पोंडेंट्स कौन होंगे, किस तरह के साइज में हम डाटा कलेक्ट करेंगे, सैंपल कलेक्शन करेंगे, पॉपुलेशन पे जाएंगे. रिसर्च डिजाइन इज समथिंग लाइक दिस. तो रिसर्च डिजाइन कभी भी पहले से डिसाइड नहीं हो सकता जब तक कि हमारा रिसर्च क्वेश्चन या रिसर्च हाइपोथेसिस फाइनलाइज नहीं. शकुंतला जी ने बिल्कुल सही कहा. ये एक ऐसा एस्पेक्ट है जिसमें कि हमें रिसर्च डिजाइन के बाद रिसर्च कलेक्शन प्रोसेस डिसाइड करता है. अगर हमारा रिसर्च कलेक्शन प्रोसेस गलत है तो अभी तक के जो हमारे स्टेप्स थे, 5 के 5 स्टेप्स, वो मिसलीडिंग होंगे और मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम दे विल बी डिफीटिंग द पर्पस फॉर विच इट हैज बीन यू से सेलेक्टेड. अगर हमारा डाटा कलेक्शन तक ठीक है, देन इट कम्स टू द data modeling, research analysis, data analysis, number 7 step. And number 7 step is followed by the conclusions, policy implication, theoretical implications, and identifying what will be the idea for the future research. So these steps from step 1 to step 8 is having a logical frame. If this logical frame is handled intelligently and handled rationally, a better research is awaiting for you to get published, get accepted by the public, and get sufficient recognition. So this is the process of research that is explained by NEP, that this is the research process one should follow. Ma'am, next slide पे जा सकते हैं शकुंतला जी. जी. Now I said that purpose of research should also be clear to you when you are making research, and in that the important aspect is gaining some familiarity with the topic, discovering some of its main dimensions and possible planning to have a structured research is exploration that you need to make. If it is descriptive, then it is a normal, you say, ratios and tabular frames are being provided. Sometimes core deeper analysis is not required. And third one is the explanation. In the explanation, all kind of deep typical analysis nowadays you may be hearing about in your different subject area, these are being reflecting. I have a request, if you people accept my request. Can I ask that you can write your subject in your, you say, chat box, which subject teacher you are. That will be easy for me to generate certain examples. So do nothing, just in the chat box write down this subject of you. I will be, because 56 people are here, means 56 means 54 participants are right now here. So I would like to know 54 participants' name. G, political science. Okay. Human psychology, chemistry, yes, commerce. Please go ahead. Yeah. शकुंतला जी, आपका तो मैं समझ रहा हूँ, हिंदी या संस्कृति हो सकता था. इकोनॉमिक्स, हिस्ट्री. जी. ओके, फिजिकल एजुकेशन, साइकोलॉजी वालों से हमें डर लगता है. ओके, हिस्ट्री, ज्योग्राफी, यस. ओके, वेरी डेडली you say combination we have in this, very diverse, you say, representation is there. Okay, geography. Please go ahead, ma'am. Only we have got for 15, 16 now. Geography, social science. Okay. Nandal ji, Renu Nandal, social science. Okay. Some people, some other are there. Please write down. Okay, Deepak ji, geography, chemistry. Okay. Mathematics. Shilpi ji, आप odd one out लग रही हैं. Mathematics. Okay. Yes, Hindi literature. Fine. Yeah, please go ahead. Few more me write. Yeah. Yeah, fine. Okay. I got a broad idea so that I can take certain examples of that type. Ma'am, next slide पे जाएंगे. Yeah, these are the research musts. Because if NEP explains that if the research is being done, it should be in a sequence, in a process. And there are certain essentials which are required. Okay, Renu Balayanji from history. Thank you. Determine information already available and what further information is required. Shalini ji, mathematics. Yeah. Best approach for obtaining it. In the given circumstances, to determine information already available and what further gap is there, what kind of data you have to add, you need to work in a focused manner. And objectively, you need to get the information. When I'm saying objectively collect the information, what does it mean? Objectively collection of data means what? Information should be collected objectively by you. What's the meaning of it? Anybody? What's the meaning of word objectively selecting the information? Anybody? Why we are saying objectively? Ji, Datta ji.
Yes, sir. So when you design a research project, then we have some aim, and under the aim, we have certain objectives. Now, when you collect data in any dimension, that should cover the objectives you have set for your research work. This much I understand.
Okay. Ma'am, I'm sorry, but it is something different we are looking for. Slightly different. I'm saying
hello, sir.
Not biased in collecting your information. You should not have any prejudice. Objectively means
Yes.
in a balanced manner, without tilting on any front. Because when we are looking for a research, we have a bent of mind. Very correct, ma'am. Pratibha ji has written something. Let me read what she has written. Yeah, Pratibha ji is saying when we give everyone a right to give information, yes, that is also a way. But still, Pratibha ji, that is part of the selection of the sample. Right? If you are talking about the selection of the sample, no, it is not like this. But yeah, if you are saying everybody is having a right to speak, means if you are having a sample of say 20 people and you give them freedom to speak on the issue that for which you are collecting the information, that way it is correct. Personal feelings of the should not come into. Namita Chahalji, you are very correct. Personal interest, personal feeling, personal biasness, prejudice should be absent in collection of the data. Otherwise, what you want, that will be getting in the research output. It happens specifically. I'm telling you, there are two types of research processes. One is called quantitative research processes. Another is called qualitative research processes. Can you understand the difference between the two? Qualitative research processes and quantitative research processes. Anybody? See, in the qualitative research processes, you are collecting information in indirect manner. And on those cases, the objectivity or unbiasedness of you is an essential requirement. In the absence of it, you will be missing the bus. So to be on the bus, to be having this, comfortable and successful ride in that bus, it is essential that you should be objective in your assessment. You should be having no personal dimension. Namita ji kuch कहना चाह रही हैं, please.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I can give one example for this.
Please.
That is number of persons who have joined this workshop.
Yeah.
It is what we'll say. It's another what you were saying quantitative.
Yes.
Quantitative data and what they have benefited, what they feel about this. That is what the benefits they have gained from this workshop. This is the relative question.
That's
it will be the qualitative form.
It is a qualitative. Rather, even this qualitative information can be converted into quantitative, right? If I ask you, give your 1 to 5, give your marks, and they will give marks. Even then, it is still can be converted into quantitative very comfortably. But sometimes where you judge the people from the gesture of them, the way they speak, the way emphasize some words, that is more important. We are looking to those dimensions nowadays. Suppose we want to have a study of the Adivasis, those who are in living in a far-flung area. हम उनके बारे में स्टडी करना चाह रहे हैं. आप उनकी लैंग्वेज भी नहीं जानते. Somehow you, with some symbols and other things, you collect some information about them. Those informations are very difficult to be very carefully. Am I correct? Anybody wanna add anything? It will be welcome. If it is true, we can go further. Ma'am, next slide, please. This is obviously we have deliberated on it. I want that we should be having some focus on these steps one by one. So step 1, as I described, selection of the topic. It is a crucial stage. As an appropriate topic or a wrong question if you have raised, it is irreversible in the future. So better it is to focus on the first step only. But it is unlikely that you will develop a final question in the very beginning and set of objective at this stage may be requiring reprocessing and research processing. That's why stage 2 and stage 3 are important in developing and assessing your questions in a more, you say, objective way and more, you say, intelligent way. And for that, next slide we will go, stage number 2. Ma'am, next slide. शकुंतला जी, सॉरी मैं आपको थोड़ा सा बिजी रखूंगा, टेक्निकल फ्लो तो मेरी साइड पे भी है, पर आई एम सॉरी, आई एम कीपिंग यू एंगेज. This step number 2 in the literature review, normally it has been experienced that we always skip or very non-seriously complete this second step of literature review for any research. But it is very essential and critical reading and evaluating and organizing that literature assessment is the essential requirement to identify the research gap. Because this is the area, this is the step, this is the stage in which you will become an expert in one area of research where you are focusing for. And generally, alongside it, we develop the theoretical and conceptual framework also along with it. That is the part of the stage number 3 of the research process. Please go to the next slide, ma'am. Next slide, please, Shakuntala ji. Yeah, development of theoretical and conceptual framework. As I described that, continuously developing and refining your theoretical and conceptual framework is the process, because till this stage you can go back and review yourself. Theoretical framework refers to the theoretical approach that you have adopted to underline your research, and conceptual framework. Yeah, and in the conceptual framework, new concept and new phenomena are the novelty of the research. You know, this is the time where you will be reflecting that what new I am going to contribute to the literature, to the existing literature, because that is showing that how your research is different than the existing research. Otherwise, if you are copying the same thing, then it is something like plagiarism. This is something like, you say, similarity that you are making with the research. Then it is of wastage of resources, ample resources that could have been used for something else instead of copying the same research that you have done earlier. Step number 4, please, next slide. So this is where the clarification and fixation of the research questions and the research hypotheses occur. In the initial research stage, what have been chosen, what has been investigated, to be investigated, what will be accepted and what will be rejected. Here, you will be focusing on the relevant questions. And actually speaking, in this stage number 4, we start working in the project mode. Project mode means you will be deciding your scope, and then you will not cross this scope. You know, when I'm saying the working in the project mode, stage number 4 means working in the project mode. Means, you know what is project? Project is a unique endeavor having some specific unique objectives to be achieved in a given point of time with the given resources. Like, for example, the project Bhakra Nangal Dam is doing what? Generation of electricity. Their scope is to generation of electricity, not distribution of electricity. Whether this electricity is distributing effectively or not, it is not the job of the project Bhakra Nangal Dam. Similarly, in the project, your scope is to be finalized in this stage. What you will be doing, what you will not be doing, what type of variable you will be using, what kind of, you say, moderating or intervening assessments of the variables you will be having, how, to what extent you will be using the complex tools, to what extent you will be looking to the different associated technological tools, is part of the stage number 4. If at stage number 4 things are betterly handled, then the research will be more fruitful to the society or to the section for which the research is being performed. If this stage is weakened due to variety of reasons, then the rest of the stages will be less productive or totally unproductive sometime. And to do that, stage number 5 is to be understood. Ma'am, go to the next slide, please. Thank you. So this is what the stage number 5 I was explaining, that research design. What data do I need to collect the answer of the questions? And what is the best way to collect that data? In your circumstances, in terms of the resources, in terms of the funds, in terms of the manpower, in terms of the time. In this triangle, there is a triangle of, you say, research design: time, scope, and cost. If you have sufficient time, definitely you should have more detail and better data collection in terms of size of the sample. But if you have lesser funds available, then definitely it can be troublesome. If you have lesser time, suppose you have to complete a research work in the next, you say, 1 month or 1 week or 1 year. Accordingly, the data collection process and data collection amount of data or the sample size is to be decided and finalized. Then again, it is required that looking to the objectives of the research, we can see whether cross-section data will be useful or experimental data will be useful. Like I saw a lot of you say faculty members from the chemistry is attending this program. So for them, what kind of experiments you need to have, it depends upon the kind of services, facilities you are having in your lab. If your lab is not sufficiently equipped with the chemicals and other, you say, reagents and other things you require, then your research objective should be accordingly be finalized. Otherwise, it can be a trouble unnecessarily you are inviting for yourself. So, what kind of experiment? These experiments will be repeating. Suppose after 1 week, you are repeating those experiments and testing in the different environment, different weather conditions, different temperatures, how the reactions are there of your sample. So that all are part of the research design. Whether it is primary or secondary, sometimes you are taking information and tests, experiments made by the other researchers, and then you are comprehending on your own on the basis of them. It is also part of that research process. And then comes the what will be the process you will be having to collect your information data, whether interviews, whether questionnaire, whether schedule, or you say experiments, and so on. Will be what will be the best process according to your circumstances, then you will be finalized. Before I move further, I want to have a question, because there are some psychology people also here. What is the difference between the schedule and questionnaire? Two terms we used normally. People from psychology. Two participants, I think, are from the background of. Yes, please. Sociology or psychology. Anyone? Schedule and questionnaire. What is the difference? Somebody should tell me. Nobody.
सर, क्वेश्चनायर का मतलब प्रश्नोत्तरी है सर। यदि सर्वे से संबंधित कोई शोध कार्य किया जा रहा है तो उसमें हम क्वेश्चनायर बनाते हैं सर।
जी जी, बिल्कुल ठीक है। शेड्यूल भी मैम कुछ ऐसा ही होता है
जी। शेड्यूल
साइकोलॉजी वाले बता सकते हैं, कॉमर्स वाले बता तो सकते हैं, बोलेंगे नहीं, हम साइकोलॉजी वालों से पूछेंगे।
जी सर।
यस, somebody please. See, in case of schedule, and in a questionnaire, there are certain minute differences we should understand. Schedule is also a process in which a questionnaire is given to the respondent. In case of schedule and questionnaire, the fundamental difference somebody is writing. Yes, chemistry department. Okay, fine, Rajendra ji. We were looking to the answer of it. Okay, the fundamental difference is whether you are going on your own to collect the data or you are sending only the questionnaire to fill it up. It is schedule if you are going and filling up the questionnaire on your own, and if you are sending questionnaire to be filled up by the respondent by post or by hand or by somebody is giving, then it is the questionnaire. Both the tools are having its own applicability in terms of variety of things. Sometimes personal influence of the respondents is made by the researcher when researcher is going to join them. So sometimes it can be a trouble also, but most of the time it is useful. Ma'am, next slide, page 6. Shakuntala ji, should I participate in the research? Who should you participate in the research? Is something we need to answer in your research process, because who will be the respondent of you? Who will be helping you in your research process? If you are making an experiment, who will be the team with whom you will be doing, or you will be part of any team? That is to be gained. How will I gain access to them, to the respondents of you or the resources that you want to make experiment in your lab? What are the exact procedure that should I adopt in my data collection to ensure our reliability and validity? That's very, very important nowadays. You have collected some information, but the question that you have asked is not serving the purpose that should have been asked. Because so many changes in your questionnaire has been made that exactly what the bullseye you were expected to hit, even you are not focusing on the bullseye in your question. Hitting is secondary. So that's very, very important. Another dimension comes the ethical issues. In present days research, one way or other, humans are associated. And if your research is making certain experiments where human beings are being considered as guinea pig, it is not ethically correct. If you are making certain experiments of certain drugs without intimating to the individuals, it is not ethical. If you are taking blood of an individual, you have to take permission in the due processes from the ethical board of your institute. NEP has clearly reflected it that no unethical research is allowed, especially in the field of biosciences or sciences where mankind or animals are associated. So ethical issue associated with the research is something which has raised the bar or raised the standards in the present time more effectively and more positively. Next slide, please, ma'am. Yeah. This data collection process, you have to consider what will be the methodology, how you will be utilizing the different methods to be followed and to be adopted in the research process is the part of the data collection. Data collection process is usually depending upon the nature of the research, whether you will be going to the labs, whether you will be going to the society, consumers, respondents, or different other permutations and combinations comes with it. Next slide. So data analysis and data interpretation. This part is usually the part where at least present time researchers are doing well. Doing well in the sense that now they are having very sophisticated tools available. Various simulation processes are available. Bootstrapping processes are available through which it became easy to simulate the environment and make the critical analysis and discussion of the finding, because you have access to the all form of research, already existing literature, and you can have new addition to the existing research in a more lucid and effective way. Question comes that in mind is, what are the possible reasons if you are not getting support from the literature? Every research is not having support from the literature. Sometimes very novel thing you are coming up. For novel thing, you need to have a criteria of statistical, a priori criteria, statistical criteria. Nowadays, a third criteria is called analytical criteria. So those three criteria, the deep analytical criteria looks for the data sciences, like econometric criteria is one criteria we say, or you can say the nowadays financial analyst, business analyst, human resource analyst, production analyst, they are focusing on those particular areas. So that is one aspect that we need to cover in the stage 7. Please go ahead, ma'am. Next slide. Yeah. So drawing conclusions and looking for the future direction of the research, framing policy implications, theoretical implications, clearly and categorically. If those things are not there in your research, then your research is half-baked, misleading, and sometimes creating unnecessary troubles in your analysis. So, sometimes you may saw that with the experiment of 100 people, somebody said that, no, if you are a diabetic person, it is good for you to take a particular product. Rajbir ji, assistant professor, Dayal Singh College. Chaliye, ye mera alma mater hai. I studied from Dayal Singh College. Rajbir ji. Yeah, thank you. Now, next thing that comes in my mind about the drawing of conclusion is that whatever you are concluding your research or training to the students about those research, it's very, very important to see that whether you have contributed objectively towards it. What the conclusion you are drawing, whether it is coming out from your research or it is your prejudice. It is your आपके पूर्वाग्रह तो नहीं है कहीं जो आप रिसर्च की implication conclusions में suggestions में लिख रहे हैं. What are the strengths and the weaknesses of your research? This is the beauty of the research, that you are reflecting the limitations of your research, strengths of your research, weaknesses of your research in a unbiased manner. So next slide, ma'am. Yeah. Now please stay here. Quality parameters of research. Now I want your inputs on it. What are the quality parameters of research? In the beginning, I have also asked. Now I want it clearly and categorically. एक रिसर्च का क्या पैरामीटर है कि उसको हम कहें ये क्वालिटी रिसर्च है या नहीं है? Please, you can speak to unmute yourself or you can type in the chat box. But I want inputs of you. What are the parameters? At least in a line, in a word, you can write down the quality parameters that you think are there. G. In the chat box, you can write what are the quality parameters of research. Yes. Chemistry teachers, mathematics teachers, you must have some good publications in your CV. Can you mention what are the quality parameters we have for the research publication? Sir, Adhyayan Sandarbh Granth. Adhyayan Sandarbh Granth. हिंदी में बड़ा मुश्किल है, इसके इंग्लिश में क्या बोलेंगे? जी अनम्यूट करके बोल दीजिए. You can unmute yourself.
सर हमें संदर्भ ग्रंथ का अध्ययन करना चाहिए.
हाँ ठीक है, वो ठीक है. I understood the reference points you are talking about. Yes.
जी.
How much it is useful to society. ये बहुत अच्छा है कि how much it is useful for the society. apply method that best address the research questions of the interest. रीना जी, you are very correct. इसके कुछ स्पेसिफिक पैरामीटर्स मान लिए गए हैं आजकल हमारे यहाँ पे. क्या है वो, कुछ ऐसा आइडिया दीजिए. Yes, write down in your you say chat box. People from history, chemistry. राज सावंत जी केमिस्ट्री से हैं, बताइए ना. महाराष्ट्र, यू आर फ्रॉम महाराष्ट्र, बताइए. यस, व्हाट आर द क्वालिटी रिसर्च पैरामीटर्स? NEP aspect accepts that not only faculty members but even students should be exposed to the quality research. What are the international parameters of measuring the quality research? Subject selection, fine. Selection of the sample, fine. What are the international parameters? It should be trustworthy. Definitely it should be trustworthy. It should be empirical. It should be near to the reality. Estimation to the reality is very important. Have you heard about this H-index? How many of you say write yes or no, Y or N? H-index. Have you heard yes or no, Y or N? लिख दीजिए. Yes. Abhay Datta is saying yes. Pratibha ji is saying yes. Rest of the people, please tell me whether yes or no. Okay, yes. Oh, all of you are familiar. Very right. Baba Saheb, Kendre Baba Saheb ji, yes, very good. Himanshi ji, yes. Deepti ji saying yes. How do we calculate H-index? How do we calculate H-index? Yes.
According to citation of
Obviously,
the published
citation,
paper.
it is connected. Yes, it is connected with the citation. Then how do we calculate H-index? Very correct. You are not wrong. You are right. Ji, how do we calculate?
A minimum number of publication you have with the same citation, like you have.
Very right, Dattaji, very right. Absolutely. Like you say, if I say H-index is 10, means 10 publication of that researcher is having at least 10 citation.
Yes.
Yeah. This is H-index. Then there is another phenomena called I-10.
Well, that is like number of publication you have at least 10 citations each.
Yes. At least those, say I-10 is 15, means 15 publication of that researcher is having at least 10 citations. So this is a Google Scholar is measuring only this I-10. Otherwise, H-index is measured by Scopus, Google Scholar, and so many other, including Web of Science and others. Another parameter is impact factor. What is the meaning of impact factor? मैम आप नेक्स्ट स्लाइड कर सकते हैं जी. ये आप स्क्रीन पे देख भी सकते हैं. इम्पैक्ट फैक्टर नॉर्मली 2 years के गैप में हम कैलकुलेट करते हैं. फॉर प्रीवियस 2 years involves dividing the number of times article were cited by the number of articles that are citable. It's published. Is giving you impact factor. If impact factor is 1, it means on an average, the article published 1 or 2 years, normally 2 years, have at least 1 citation. Means each, on an average citation is 1, means every publication of you at least have been 1 citation in some other journal. These are the quality parameters nowadays. मैम नेक्स्ट स्लाइड कर दीजिए. I-10 का भी इसमें आ जाएगा जी. This is the H-index, reflection of H-index, and then the next slide. Ma'am, next slide, ma'am. Shakuntala, ma'am. Yeah, this is I-10 we are talking about. These three parameters nowadays are so intelligently handled parameter by the world, then rest of the things are not addressed. Before we move further, can I ask you one thing? Normally, in case of Indian publications, citations are less. Why so? What is the reason? Normally, a publication that is made in India and the same quality of research paper is published by some other country, say US. Fine. Why citations in Indian publications are less? Can somebody give me some input on it? Somebody? Yes? Nobody is telling me. Have I asked a wrong question? Okay, let us ask another question. There is one another concept called scopus publication nowadays. UGC care list you have seen, na? In that the prominently dominating number is of UGC care lists scopus publication. This is another quality parameter nowadays we have to understand how good quality publication you are. If it is published in H index, people say it is relatively better. I don't know to what extent they are right or wrong. Yes, anybody? Yes, please. Okay. Now see, in the publication process, citations are less for Indian publications in the last 15 years. But this trend is changing now. If you see the last 4 or 5 years, lot of good quality, so-called quality publication, I will say, because the better quality publication criteria you have already mentioned in your chat box. People say which is good for the society, if you are really contributing something society for the society. If something tangible is coming, then only it's a good research, otherwise not. Another thing that is associated with the quality research is the research with relevance. If some social problems are being addressed by this research work comfortably and in a serious manner, then it is a quality research. If that research is giving knowledge dissemination in an effective way, then it is a quality research work. If you have access of your publication to the society, it is better because more people will be able to understand and more people will be able to get exposed to your research. It is good. Public engagement. If you are focusing and solving some problems of the public through your research work, it is welcome. It is fruitful. It is more contributory. So these dimensions in the research work process is very essential. Ma'am, next slide. Yes. Now I talk about present time, the requirement that has been fixed by NEP. NEP 2020 envisages the promotion of quality research with the higher education system. Why higher education system? Because higher education system is a mature process in which quality publications, quality research is having huge potential. For the school level, we are not talking about research. There what we have promotions of experimental labs, tinkering labs nowadays you may be hearing. at the college level or at the higher education level. Now we are emphasizing to establish technology business incubation centers, business innovation centers. Why so? Because primarily our education system was based on the rote process, ROTE, rote, cramming. And through those cramming processes, we were desiring and aspiring and explaining the processes. NEP, and even before NEP, it was realized by majority of the research works that if we have to survive for the longer period in the society, if we have to go to be the superpower of the next decade in the world, we need to have strong infrastructure in terms of the trained human resources, and for that, establishment of Research and Development Center, RDC, in every research, every academic institute, higher education institute is a must. Societal challenges of our country can only be addressed by establishing such kind of promoting cells where logics, research, quality inputs will be strongly available with a vibrant, a powerful, and a strong ecosystem in terms of promoting research, innovation, and technological development. You know, there are two terms I want to know the difference between them from you, and please tell me in a lucid way. There is a term called invention. Another one nowadays we are using is innovation. What is the broad or fundamental difference between the two? Yes. Innovation and invention. What is the fundamental difference between the two? Yes. Yes, please.
Sir,
Yeah.
innovation means a novelty.
Yeah.
Sir,
Yes, yes.
it concerns to the novelty, and invention means actually the work performed by the individual or combined work.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Individual or combined work is innovation. Okay. Anybody else? Somebody should contribute. Innovation and invention. What is the difference? At least give some idea, na? Parveen ji, can we hear from you? Yeah?
जी सर.
जी, इन्वेंशन और इनोवेशन में फर्क. आप जेएनयू से हैं?
जी सर.
क्या सब्जेक्ट है आपका?
मेरा ज्योग्राफी है सर.
अरे सर, ज्योग्राफी में तो फिर बहुत कुछ है. इनोवेशन और इन्वेंशन का फर्क बता दीजिए ना.
जी सर. जी सर. ये थोड़ा सा टर्मिनोलॉजी है तो मैं सो आई एम नॉट एबल टू रिकॉल.
Okay, no issue. Anybody else who can put some input on it? Innovation and invention.
Sir, invention means a very new discovery, and innovation means we can say to fill a better part, यानी नवाचार और आविष्कार.
Okay.
Sir, innovation is something new. Create something new.
Okay. And invention?
Invention existing है उसको ढूंढना है.
नो सो ये वाइस वर्सा हो गया मैम। जी
नहीं, ऐसी नहीं है, ये इतना भी वैसा वर्षा नहीं है। इट्स अ वेल अटेम्प्ट। लेट अस हियर फ्रॉम समबडी एल्स। प्रतिभा जी, creating or finding something for the first time is invention. Okay, innovation bring a change that may process or method of technology etc. Okay, चलिए ठीक है, प्रतिभा जी ने कुछ इनपुट दिया। somebody else who can speak, क्योंकि मुझे लग रहा है कुछ लोग का जो सिंबल दिखाई दे रहा है सिंबल कि वो मोबाइल से ज्वाइन किए हुए हैं, तो बिकॉज ऑफ दैट आई थिंक वो
इनोवेशन कुछ नया बनाना और इन्वेंशन उसको प्रैक्टिकल में लेके आना।
थोड़ा फिर ये थोड़ा रिवर्स हो गया लग रहा है शायद कुछ। डॉक्टर रीना, सब्जेक्ट क्या है आप?
मेरा पॉलिटिकल साइंस है।
हाँ मैम, बिल्कुल आप पॉलिटिकली तो करेक्ट है।
ओके
सर, इनोवेशन मींस इंफॉर्मेशन को स्प्रेड करना।
ओके, इनोवेशन इंफॉर्मेशन को स्प्रेड करना, और इन्वेंशन
सर, इन्वेंशन तो इन्वेंट एनीथिंग लाइक हाइब्रिड वैरायटी सीड्स जैसे आप इन्वेंट कर रहे हैं कि साल्ट टॉलरेंट सीड्स जैसे इन्वेंट हो रखे हैं, दैट इज इन्वेंशन।
ओके, थोड़ा सा मैं ही कंफ्यूज हो गया लग रहा है आपको।
हेलो,
बहुत सारे डायमेंशन बता दिए। चलिए हम इसको सॉल्व करते हैं कॉम्प्लेक्सिटी को। जी कोई बोल रहे हैं, कोई बोलिए।
हाँ जी सर। सर एक्चुअली invention like when mobile was invented, finding something for the first time.
Okay, first time है तो invention होगा।
जी जी जी। अब वो जो मोबाइल बन गया उसमें from time to time we are making changes, like उसका ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम चेंज कर दिया, फोल्ड मोबाइल्स आ गए।
हाँ ये तो ठीक है, आपकी बात में काफी लॉजिक है। जी हाँ जी। Somebody else. You are correct. To some extent, you are correct, Pratibha ji. Yes. Somebody else. जी. Somebody else who can give me some input. Yes, please. Can I have some more input on it? Am I audible? Please confirm me.
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Okay, right. Thank you.
Yes, sir, audible.
Thank you. See, fundamentally, this innovation terminology we started using in the last, you say, approximately 3 decades. Before that, innovation was not so effective term. Now we are talking about innovation more. You know, the reason behind it is very simple. Innovation says that if you have something novel prepared, it should have a commercial viability and it should be commercially exploited. Edison has invented the bulb, but commercially he was not in a position to exploit that technology. Actually, innovation has, if I say correctly speaking, Edison has not invented the bulb. He has invented the correct composition of filament, which is long lasting. Bulb was invented prior to it. Still, for the sake of not contradicting to the history, we say it was invented. But even that, if it was invented, I would say that fine, it was invented. It was not innovation. Today we are not saying you invent something. Today we are saying innovate something. And that is the purpose. You should prepare something which is going to be commercially viable, visible, and workable. If it is not innovation. Novelty with commercial viability. You know, some of you may be having patents, or you know the process of having patent. Patents are required, but in the patent, one of the prime condition is that you should have a commercially viable product. If you don't have a commercially viable product, you cannot go for a patent. Commercial exploitability, profitability, if it is not there, or you are not able to justify why you are taking patent. Because patent means you are protecting your technology or innovation that you have made, novelty you have done. If that is not novel, who is going to theft that? There is no need of any protection. So when in 1995 we became part of the World Trade Organization, we started talking about novelty. We started talking about the innovation. So from there, the innovation, technological development phenomena come into picture. I'm saying that NEP 2020 has said that you should have a research development cell in your institution. Whether you are a university, whether you are a college, whether you are any other higher education institute, you should have a RDC present in your institutes. How many of you are having? Write yes if you have, say N if you don't have. Write down in the chat box. Yes, if you have any RDC in your institute, college, university. If you don't have, say no. Write down in your chat box. Ji, please be fast. Please be fast. Okay. Go ahead, please. We are 58 sitting here. Okay, Pinky Kalawati is saying no again. Okay, so there are so many other participants. Please do that. At least you said you should write NRY. Okay, Imanshi Malik, no. Okay, go ahead. Others, please. Yeah. Only you say 9-10 people have written. We are 55, 56 here. At least you should mention. Okay. Dr. Ganesh ji. Okay. All of you are saying no. Most of you may be having. Praveen ji, you are from JNU. Unmute yourself.
Sir, actually, I have completed my doctorate from JNU, but right now I am working in Department of Higher Education, Haryana, sir. Government College, Israna. So in my college, there is not the availability of any such type of cells.
Okay. It's a government college. Government college Israna.
It's a government college.
Yeah, I know. So the point is,
sir, most of the participants are from the colleges. That is why
I understood, ma'am. I understood. That's the point. You know, and why RDC is required? You know, this is another question that should we have. On the other day, I was interacting with you say participant, and they said that, sir, we require RDC because there will be RDC, we will be able to guide PhD. We want to guide PhD students, and since we are in college, we are not doing it. We said that can be a purpose of RDC, but that's not the prime purpose of RDC. RDC is required to inculcate a research culture in the organization. RDC is required to structure and systematize the resources which can be useful for the research of the faculty members and, more importantly, the students. That is the purpose, stepping ahead from a simple tinkering lab to a R&D lab, research and development lab, may not be dedicated to a particular subject, but in general, a kind of environment being generated through which we may be able to provide certain, inputs to the students. And if nothing else, at least discussions should start happening on the different research areas, which can be of interest to the society, to the education institute, to the stakeholders of the education institutes. So this RDC has been focused towards those particular parameter, and NEP, because this is the NEP orientation program, we are gathered today here on the last day of this 8 days program. This inculcation of the entrepreneurial culture, inculcation of the research culture, innovation culture, aspires to have a dedicated wing. You may be having, any in charge in your, college, if you are in a college. In universities, usually now we saw that there is a research and development cell which is being handled by one dean or sometime by any, adjoining faculty in charge, those who are facilitating. One of the important purpose that is associated with the RDC is, ma'am, can we go to the next slide? Shakuntala ma'am. Ma'am, are you there? Okay, thank you. So the integration of innovation and technological development is the foundation of any scheme that we are nowadays talking about, the self-reliant. Now we have named it Atmanirbhar Bharat in the present era. This RDC enables the targets of Atmanirbhar Bharat and is expected to play a pivotal role in catalyzing multidisciplinary, transdisciplinary, and transnational research cultures. That is the mandate of NEP. Because in NEP, one of the things that we say that we should have academic bank of credit. We say there should be, freedom of selecting these subjects. You should have multidisciplinary degrees more so that we can have a holistic development of the individual. Instead of only focusing on certain subjects, we should be trained, sensitize them on various topics, various subjects, so that in the future they can plan. Because this is the fundamental, soul of NEP. And to fulfill that purpose, research cultures, research resources, people may be interested to do something, and for that you have to approach certain agencies to get funds. RDC's role is there to see what kind of opportunities are getting open, where students can apply, where in the blended mode, students and faculty can apply, or faculty member on its own can apply. Certain projects for the institute level, some projects for the individual levels can be promoted and facilitated, is the purpose of the research and development cell in any organization. This is one, important aspect of the, NEP 2020 to have a research inculcation in the organization. Now, ma'am, next slide, please. Yeah, if we talk about the objectives of the RDCs, fundamentally, broadly, there are 3 objectives of the RDCs we have. One is to create an organizational structure with role-based function of RDC. Role, I described you. So you need to prepare certain groups, certain clusters of the individuals, some consortia of the research. Because, one good thing that has been recognized in the NEP is that you cannot have watertight compartments to promote research. Research most of the time is having quality in their research if it is multidisciplinary in nature. Because individuals are multidisciplinary. When individuals are multidisciplinary, the research also supposed to be like that. If you will be having cocoons of you, then you will be having, say, watertight compartments only. And in that watertight compartment, some cocoons are prepared by you. So what the cocoon is doing, you can understand. To get away from that cocoon, to have a cluster group, frontline teams, consortia, it will enable research policies in terms of inculcating the manpower, in terms of creating those kind of skills through which research can be implemented completely. And most importantly, certain funds, when will be available to you, will be able to have some, you say, independent research works and other facilities. One other thing that has been realized in the last few, you say, years, that somebody has brought research projects, a faculty member has made efforts and bring the research projects. Say it is of 10 lakh rupee. Now, how to spend that 10 lakh rupee, how to recruit the manpower in that research is a challenge to that individual. So once, after a point of time, he will start realizing that why should I have engaged myself in such thing? Instead of it, it would have been better that, like other faculty member, I should have sitting calmly and comfortably instead of doing this work. So RDC is required to facilitate in terms of recruiting, in terms of purchasing products, in terms of following the rules and regulation, and those transparently is intimated to the principal investigators and the faculty members, those who have brought projects. Because ultimately it is the public money that is being used, the resources are being used, so that those resources should rationally and justified manner should be used with the purpose of the RDC. Next slide, please. Now, one thing that come into picture under the RDC is that you should have a special purpose vehicle to promote research and the innovation activities in your institution. And for that, RDC will be collaborating with the nearby areas research institutes, nearby areas academic institutes, nearby areas industries, because ultimately solutions of the industry is being provided by these research institutes, by these, you say, educational institutes. So to have that cooperation, to have that synergic partnership, to have that conducive ecosystem, you require RDC to work as a listening team between the researcher, funding agencies, and stakeholders. Because when you are working on a research, it is in the project mode. That's why it is called research project. Project means there is scope defined, there is a time defined, there are fund defined. And under these three triangle of research project, time, scope, and resources, you need to have the presence of a guiding agency to the resource person, to the faculty members. And those agencies are in form of research development cells. Next slide, ma'am. Now we talk about the one aspect that has taken a new dimension, a new paradigm under the NEP, that is the collaborative research ecosystem. In the present era, if you as an individual or as a researcher working individually, you may get less, or your way of thinking may be uniform, or you say few dimensions may be covered by you. NEP suggests to have a collaborative research ecosystem in your institute, in your, you say, nearby institutes, or kind of MOUs and other things that you are preparing. To address that ecosystem and other, if ma'am permits, can we have a break of 5 minutes?
Yes, sir.
Good.
In fact, there is a procedure of 10 minutes break between this during these 3